Hey everybody, it's Alex William Smith here, better known to many of you as Jonathan Royle, hypnotist of magicalguru.com and ultimatehypnosiscourse.com. It's the 5th of May 2022 when I make this video. What you're going to see following up is some clip shoots for literary review and critical review, copyright exemption purposes that were broadcast on the 3rd of May on Karl Smith's YouTube UK Hypnosis Academy channel, and a couple of excerpts from an interview that went out on the 4th of May where Steve Miller interviewed Karl Smith. You'll hear my comments above in terms of critical review and making my position on scripts very clear. I too am totally against scriptnosis in the sense of, people need to be taught to be able to do more than just read a script. But the thing is, scripts used right, the right script used in the right way is an incredibly powerful therapeutic tool. The trouble is most hypnotherapy trainers do not teach about how to use your voice correctly, how to use the environment correctly, and a whole bunch of other psychological and environmental ploys that make the difference between a shit script being just shit or a shit script actually being a powerful therapeutic tool. And that's because most hypnotherapy trainers don't truly know what hypnosis is and how it truly works, and that is why they tell you hypnosis exists. If they knew what hypnosis truly was and how it truly worked, then perhaps they might have the balls and the truthfulness to tell you that hypnosis does not exist, or at least it only exists in the mind of the believer, because all it is emotional and psychological manipulation to give the client permission to do that which they could have always done for themselves. This is something I go into more depth about in the free video, the link to which will be above or below this. 4 hours of free training to give you more of a background on what hypnosis truly is and how it truly works. But that's just scraping the surface. But I'm giving you that free so you can see, wow, if he's giving you that free, what's he going to teach you in the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp? For which you can grab the free prospectus at the link above or below this and see the medical professionals I've taught around the world, what they say, what the famous name television life coaches and weight loss coaches have to say, what the famous name stage hypnotists have to say. Whether it's stage hypnosis, hypnotherapy, I've been there, done it, worn out the t-shirt. And, just to make it clear, I consider Karl Smith to be a friend. We are in communication. And his course I've actually been and sat in the room of, and I can tell you that it is without question in the top 5% in terms of quality and content wise, the top 5% in the world. Okay, I will still, perhaps arrogantly sounding, say that it doesn't even come close to the contents of my Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. But that's the same. There's nobody out there that can come close to the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, and that's why no one's taken up the challenge that's in the video above or below this, and they won't be able to anyway. Certainly not from a position of experience, because they'd have had to have had, over 4 decades in show business, and they'd have had to have had well over 3 decades, fast approaching the end of the 4th decade in stage hypnosis and hypnotherapy to be able to even get close. But in any event, as I say, his courses are excellent, but you won't learn anything that you couldn't possibly learn in the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. Fact. Yes, you may learn certain things on different names, because Karl's got his own trademark of kinetic shift. But what makes up kinetic shift? There's nothing, it's just a recipe of stuff, and all those elements of that recipe and the skills to be able to put your recipe together on the spot in a dynamic, improvised fashion are taught in the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. But despite the fact I teach all that, do not underestimate the power of a script. Complete Mind Therapy is structured such that it has sections where the client fills in the blanks automatically, the way the language is structured, so it makes it specific and personal to them, both on the conscious and subconscious level. And it also has sections where you can insert bits of information that they have given you from the pre-session questionnaire so that it gets them visualizing genuinely painful or genuinely pleasurable experiences that have genuinely happened in their life. So it works as really strong anchors where anchoring is relevant, or really strong motivation where that's relevant. The point being, every trick in the book's been used with complete mind therapy. So although it is a script in the legal definition of you're advised to use it word for word as it is, using it word for word as it is means that the client will be filling in some parts themselves in their mind, thus making it specific and personal to them. So it's no longer a fixed script. It can't be any more dynamic than being completely specific and personal to the client in a way that they've made specific and personal to them. And then there's other elements that make it specific and personal to them due to the information that's inserted at certain areas that is then inserted in a basically word for word using the client's own language that they've given on their pre-session questionnaire. Complete mind therapy, one of the most powerful approaches in the world. You can learn more about it in the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. Anyway, it's my critical review of some comments about scripts, health and safety, street hypnosis and stuff that Karl Smith has made recently. Nothing personal, just an observation. I've done this in the past with other people's books and video channels, and I'll be doing it with other people's in the future as well. You can check out Karl Smith's wonderful interview he gave me on Hypnosis Week, also at the link that's above or below this. Okay, this was broadcast, I believe, on the 3rd of May 2022. You can find it on Karl Smith's UK Hypnosis Academy Hypnotic Masterminds YouTube channel, titled Rapid Hypnosis. Just want you to have a little listen to this, love, because I am going to challenge Karl on certain comments.
Let me just put this up. One of the key things that I really like to stress is that when you see a hypnotist, and I've said it before on this channel, when you see a hypnotist, and this is for all you young hypnotists, hypnotherapists out there, when you see somebody walk up to somebody in the street, grab their hand, yank it, and they go sleep, and then they go, yeah, this is street hypnosis, and I've just walked up to a member of the public and didn't say anything to him. Let me just tell you a little secret from somebody who's done street hypnosis in nigh on every single country in Europe, Canada, America, Australia, Cyprus, where else? Greenland, Iceland, even up Mount Everest. I've even got pictures of me doing street hypnosis at base camp of Everest. For those people who want to see those pictures, I'm more than welcome to show you. Even in Kathmandu doing sessions. Let me just tell you, right? It is bullshit. You cannot walk up to a member of the public and just grab their hand and shout sleep. It's fucking bullshit. All right? So
the vast majority of the time, I would agree with that comment. However, yes, you can, if there is a proper professional looking, at least two professional looking cameramen with you and a guy with a boom mic that looks like a TV crew, then because it gives the perception that a TV show is being filmed, that is often powerful enough to bypass the need for a pre-talk and stuff and be able to, not every time, but more often than not, with enough confidence and knowing what you're doing, to actually do it in that manner. How do I know? Because I have worked in hypnosis of the entertainment style for, since 1990, actually doing stage shows, but I've been in show business since 1978. I've been around this, and I've helped and advised on numerous people's television projects in the past. It is possible, but only in that sort of environment. It's not going to work just with a mobile phone. Although, you know, if somebody's let them know in advance that you're coming over to their group in a moment and that you're filming for a YouTube channel of an age group that know about viral videos, then having been pre-warned that you're a hypnotist and when they come over it's going to be filmed, then that, from someone acting as like the director, can be enough of a pre-talk, as it were, for you to then walk up and, apparently from cold, just without any pre-induction, just go up and literally from cold get them under.
You have to learn you have to learn that. Right, classical approach doesn't allow street hypnosis in the class. The reason they don't allow that is because the trainer doesn't have confidence in doing it themselves. The trainer is probably that poor, is probably that fucking bad, that's why they won't allow it. All right, because
well, by virtue for it to be street hypnosis, it has to happen on the street, in a pub, a club, out and about, not in the classroom. Any hypnosis that happens in the classroom, it's the easiest place on the planet because of all rapport. Just because something can be done in the classroom doesn't mean that that person training it could actually do it in the consulting room. It doesn't necessarily mean they could do it in a public venue. However, the easiest place to do it is in the classroom. So often you will get trainers demonstrating hand sticking to tables, people forgetting the names, because that's one place where they know it's easiest to do. But a reason why it doesn't generally be allowed to be done in the breaks and on the street and in the bar is because in a lot of situations that would be illegal, and actually the insurance of the trainer would not cover for their students to be doing that. So under duty of care, health and safety laws, and their implications linked in with whether insurance covers you or not, because if you break any health and safety duty of care or hypnosis related or other laws, basically if you break any laws or regulations, then you technically invalidate your insurance anyway. But an insurance policy, I guarantee pretty much, I bet there's hardly any trainers on the planet, there'll be some, but hardly any who've got an insurance policy that says it will cover for their students whilst under, while on their class or during the course of their training to be doing street hypnosis in a manner that is defined in law as street hypnosis or entertainment hypnosis or demonstrational hypnosis. Certainly in the United Kingdom, England, the insurance thing probably covers worldwide, but in England we've got the 1952 Hypnotism Act, 1989 government guidelines, 1996, 95 Home Office report, 96 amended model conditions, plus the implications of the Licensing Act 2000, Licensing Act 2003 off the top of my head, and there's also other implications to do with busking laws, obstruction laws if it's on the street, a whole bunch of other things. And with the absolute greatest of respect to Karl, who obviously is a former police officer, that's completely irrelevant. Yes, he will know, no doubt, legal loopholes, and there are some legal loopholes, but he's not going to, your insurance is going to be invalidated as a trainer. Certainly in England, if you let people go doing street hypnosis on the streets, in bars, licensed premises, or in public, and the fact is they're not going to, even if they had insurance of their own, that will be invalidated unless they had the correct license or permissions in place, or they were going about it in a certain manner that I know with the greatest of respect, you don't teach, Karl, and neither do pretty much the vast majority of trainers, because to teach how to do it safely, legally, lawfully and ethically without the need for the licenses in England, or in a way that means the insurance wouldn't be invalidated in other countries, well, that training alone takes around 6 hours, and that's the fast track version. I know because we ran the course transparency template, and it's the world's most comprehensive health and safety, duty of care, safety, legal implications, training on all things entertainment hypnosis, demonstrational hypnosis, and street hypnosis. And no one's covering it to that extent, which means they're not covering it to enough of a level to legally substantiate that they've abided their duty of care to their students before letting them go and do street hypnosis on other people during their training time. So that's a really good reason to not let people do it. But we'll let you continue.
Impromptu hypnosis is one of the most powerful things, not just street, impromptu. Just showing somebody something there and then.
Agreed, actually.
Right? Let's take the word street out of it and just call it impromptu, right?
You can take the word street out, but impromptu hypnosis is still governed by the same laws, regulations, and still has the same duty of care, legal obligations, and insurance factors to consider.
reason that they won't is because they haven't got the fucking minerals to show people. And I am really raw on this subject, all right?
I agree with you there, Karl. I would say in the rounds of at least 95% of so-called hypnotherapy trainers could not, impromptu, without prior warning, with a complete stranger they've never met before, do a credible demonstration of hypnotic phenomenon in a public place. But a large amount could in the training room because of au rapport, but still a lot of them don't have the confidence. So I do agree with you on some points, but you just you just seem to have missed a bit in regards to laws, regulations, and insurance implications and such like.
They haven't got the fucking minerals. They haven't got the balls to sit there and show something. Why? Because they're failed therapists that are trying to turn a coin in the training industry. And what they do is they spread the...
Well, yeah, I agree with you there. The largest number of them don't make enough from therapy sessions, so they turned to training, which is one of the reasons why on ultimatehypnosiscourse.com I've got a video there, which is my challenge to all hypnosis trainers in the world, and I do mean all hypnotherapy trainers in the world, that they cannot possibly provide more comprehensive training package than that which I do.
Gospel of fucking scripts and bullshit, and you shouldn't do that because you know it will damage the career. Let me tell you one thing.
You're saying scripts and bullshit, really against scripts and scriptnosis is Karl, as was demonstrated yesterday on the 4th of May on Steve Miller's interview, which I'll put the footage after this. But my comment basically, well, quite simply, he said there was no such thing as a dynamic script yesterday on Steve Miller's thing. Well, there is. It's called complete mind therapy. Now, some may call that more of a structure, but it's a word-for-word script, and I recommend people use it word-for-word exactly as the script is supplied, except for the areas of the script where you are given word-for-word what to say, but there are sections where you can insert certain bits of information that you've obtained from the pre-session client questionnaire, which ultimately therefore make it completely 100% specific and personal to the client. There's also sections that are worded in such a manner that if you read the script as it is, it means that the client fills in certain blanks in their own mind from their own personal experiences, both on a conscious and an unconscious level, thus making it completely specific, personal and powerful to them, and far more effective than 99.9% recurring of therapeutic approaches out there in the world. And I know because I've been road testing it on thousands of people for close to 30 years now, and I've taught it to thousands of therapists around the world who've used it with everything you can think of from A through to Z to get rapid results, long-lasting results. So, sorry, you're wrong. You can have a script that's dynamic and that becomes specific and personal to the client. However, you're right on one thing. I definitely agree with you this, Karl, that 99% of scripts out there are bullshit, crap, and could be worded far better. But you know what? If they're used in the right way by somebody who understands what hypnosis truly is and how it truly works, which is more important, even a crap script delivered with the right voice tones, intentions, conviction, charisma, and certainty, with the right theatrics in the consulting room used, so the environment is such that it gives the client permission to change, an excuse to change, an environment where they believe and expect to change, then even a crap script can get miraculous results.
If impromptu hypnosis and stage hypnosis weren't around, this profession would be fucked.
That comment, true. And that's why I've got 2 videos, which I'll put the links to below this in the comments, that explain why hypnotherapists owe a great debt to stage hypnotists. Because most of the great hypnotherapy trainers were stage hypnotists anyway. And the reason for that is, although they may not admit it in their books, is because, or the trainings, is because they understood the power of placebo and bullshit and in emotional and psychological manipulation, which is all hypnosis truly is when you truly, really understand it. And I'm about the only trainer who will honestly tell you that, and the simple fact that hypnosis does not exist in the way people think it does. And anyone who disagrees with that, take up my challenge, which is in the video above or below this, and also outlined in the prospectus, the 61-page report, the Royal Road to Hypnotic Success, that you can get at the link above and below this. But yeah, hypnotherapists do us, stage hypnotist, hell of a lot. But remember, I spoke, Armin McGill told me once at a Supreme Magic Convention in England, hypnosis is bollocks, and I talk about that with Tom Silver on my Hypnosis Week interview with him, that you can see at hypnosisweek.com. Gil Boyne, when I spoke to him on the phone, and he lived in London, we spoke many times, and he ultimately, the cowboy hypnotist, admitted it's all bollocks. It's... Well, anyway, let's carry on.
That's a fact. Paul McKenna was a street hypnotist. Darren Brown was a street hypnotist.
Paul McKenna was not a street hypnotist. He had one television show called Street Hypnosis, where he did do some stuff in a public place, but it was in a controlled manner, fully licensed and insured in the correct manner. And it was just done for a TV show. Darren Brown has done a little bit of hypnosis style looking stuff on the streets, but again, it was done in a legal, lawful, insured manner, not the stuff you see most people showing on YouTube, which is often dangerous, but also quite often breaking laws, certainly in England, but there are other laws in certain other countries as well.
Hypnotist? I know that because I've worked on TV shows sat behind them on the second.
So, Karl, please tell us, which TV shows have you worked on sat behind Paul McKenna and Darren Brown? Let's just rewind slightly, because I think I might have misunderstood that comment. So let's just play it again.
Won't allow it, all right? Because impromptu hypnosis is one of the most powerful things, not just street, impromptu.
May have got a bit far here, but let's play it for
then, right?
the interest of courtesy and truth.
Out of it and just call it impromptu, right? The reason that they won't is because they haven't got the fucking minerals to show people. And I am really raw on this subject.
I've already covered this.
The fucking minerals. They haven't got the balls to sit there and show something. Why? Because they're failed therapists that are trying to turn a coin in.
Again, largely true.
And what they do is they spread the gospel of fucking scripts and bullshit, and you shouldn't do that because it will damage the career. Let me tell you,
I've already covered the scripts.
Impromptu hypnosis and stage hypnosis won't arrant. This profession would be fucked.
By the way, all hypnosis really is stage hypnosis. The only difference is the size of your audience. You're putting a show on with your clients on a one-to-one, or if you're doing a group session, it becomes a bigger show. It's just that rather than getting people to do the cliche things like bark like a chicken, cluck like a duck, once they're under, you're using theatrics. It's misdirection of the mind. It's bullshit. Hypnosis doesn't exist.
That's a fact. Paul McKenna was a street hypnotist.
No.
Darren Brown was a street hypnotist.
Sort of.
I know that because I've worked on TV shows sat behind them. On the same token, that's where the confidence lies. You normally...
Okay, you've sat behind them on TV shows. Paul McKenna and Darren Brown. Well, as you've said, you sat behind them on TV shows. Do us a favour, mention which TV shows, will you? Paul McKenna, I've been on GMTV, on ITV, with him for definite in 1994. I'll state that, the actual programme. I have worked alongside Paul McKenna on TV. That was 1994 for definite. Darren Brown, well, Objective Productions, who make, or at least did make, loads of his TV shows, have bought pretty much, not all, but a large quantity of my different training DVDs over the years, and they've definitely used word for word and action for action some of the hypnotic style routines and stuff from my stuff in various TV programs they've made, including some of Darren's. So I'm mentioning where I've been involved with Paul McKenna and Darren Brown. Can you tell us the names of those shows? I don't Or were you just sat behind him as in you were in the audience at something that was being filmed by Paul and Darren? Because that would be slightly misleading if that were the case.
Find that some of the best hypnotists have done impromptu. And look at when you look at improv comedians, anything like that, ones that can think like that, that's where it comes from. When you can think on like that, that's when it comes. Same as improv, anything, improv acting, improv comedians, any of that shit.
Totally agree with Karl there, but again, you must pay attention to the laws, the regulations, the health and safety, the duty of care, whether what you're doing may invalidate your insurance or not. Because normal hypnotherapy insurance is not going to cover you for random impromptu demonstrations of hypnotic phenomena on the street or in a licensed premises. Simple as that. It isn't. Certainly not in England, and as far as I'm aware, most places in the world, it's not going to cover you. And if something were to go wrong, God forbid, or someone's to claim, it doesn't matter whether it really caused them psychological damage or whatnot, but if they claim such, you're going to be screwed and you could lose your house. And you think, well, that sounds like a bit over dramatic. Well, no, it's happened to people, and we discuss stuff, and the victim, well, I say the victims, the hypnotists who've ended up losing their careers, losing their houses because they didn't have the right insurance coverage, because they got accused of things they hadn't done. In the transparency template, which is available as a standalone product or is part of the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp that comes in, the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, the link for which is above or below this video. This is an excerpt for literary review purposes and critical review from the interview Steve Miller conducted interviewing Karl Smith on the 4th of May 2022. This is where I bring up health and safety and such via the message box.
Alex is saying the best, not capitals. Gotcha, I've got it here. Training document given to students are mine. In terms of being 100% specific, he is very good at this stuff, I have to say. Specific hypnotherapy and mind therapy, relevant health, safety, duty of care, GDPR, business compliance, and related legal training. Yeah, and I have to say, having I think I've seen a lot of this stuff. If anyone's out there wanting to tighten on this stuff or get some support on this, Alex Williams-Smith is your man, because he's very incredibly thorough at this. Paul Dawkins, given that few people only go to a single training school, isn't it best to demonstrate that you have done all that you can?
Not a single comment was made after that about my claim of me supplying the best health and safety duty of care for stage hypnotists and hypnotherapists, but I'll boldly state it again, nobody supplies more information that is relevant, correct, and from people who know what they're on about health and safety, duty of care, and the laws and regulations and such like, even down to stuff on GDPR and other stuff, than I do inside the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. But there again, nobody offers a more comprehensive package than the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, and that's why nobody's in over a year been able to take up the challenge that I laid down in my interview over a year ago with Greg Bornstein, the link to which will of course also be above or below this video. Again, excerpted from the interview Steve Miller did with Karl on the 4th of May. Here's Karl Smith making comment on me, but then Steve reading out a comment I posted in the box in relation to Karl Smith's complete dislike for scripts.
Just saying that on here, I'm going to be brutally honest, and I know Alex will take this the right way, because we always exchange messages and stuff like that. Is that
that's true, we do.
You meet on the internet compared to having a curry with him in Manchester, or I can't remember last time we were in Hull, we were near Hull or something like that. The Alex that you meet there is completely different to the Alex that you see that some people may perceive that you get in front of a computer. That's all. And I'm being fair there. Is that I went on the guy's training course several years ago, and it was the best course I've ever been on. It was incredible. Super talented, superbly intelligent. I wish I had his intelligence. And the one thing that struck me as well, exceptionally generous. So, when I see people slap him, I am very assertive about it because I know the true talent. But he is challenging you on scripts. Let me just read something to you. See what you think of this. He's saying some scripts work and are dynamic if they were put together right.
Sorry about how this waves around. It's because my hand was waving when it was recorded.
Then he goes on to his little advert. Hang on a minute. My complete mind therapy is such it enables clients to fill in certain blanks, including the triggers. And I guess that's what I was saying earlier in terms of tailoring. And it works for everything. So, I mean, there is difference of opinion on it. I want to now turn to your course, your diploma.
As you can see, definitely not happy about the scripts, doesn't like scripts. But the fact is, like it or lump it, I challenge anyone to find a better script than Complete Mind Therapy in terms of its adaptability, flexibility, the fact that it can be dynamic, the fact that it's written in such a manner that whilst it is a script and you're encouraged to use it word for word as it is for maximum impact and maximum effectiveness, it is more of a structure and a running order in which to use the multiple imagination, visualization, hypnotic techniques and psychological reprogram techniques that are worked within it. But there are areas that are purposely using ambiguous language so that it forces and encourages the client into filling in the blanks in a way that for them is completely specific and personal on both the conscious and unconscious level. And there's also sections where you directly guide them to think about areas of their life that have genuinely already happened, both pleasurable and, where relevant, painful. Using the information I will have given you before the session from their pre-session questionnaire, so that it's the more specific and personal to them and thus most powerful approach you could have. But there again, I do, of course, also teach all of my clients how to be completely dynamic and make things up in the moment so that they don't need a script. But despite that, Complete Mind Therapy beats the vast majority of approaches out there. Again, see my challenge to all hypnosis trainers. Can't offer a more comprehensive or powerful or better value for money package than Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. So there you have it. Don't dismiss scripts. Well, dismiss 99% of them out there that are shit. Especially if you've not been taught how to use your voice correctly, use the environment correctly, and the theatrics of the consulting room. All things that are going to be taught at Event 2022 in Birmingham in England with Steve Miller and Wayne Durana, and I'm glad to say I'm also going to be there as the keynote speaker. I've been asked to do a keynote speech there and also to share with you 3 of the most powerful, cutting edge, rapid psychological treatment techniques on the planet that will help improve your success immensely. I'm really looking forward to that in September, and again, the details will be above or below this video. And please do check out the interview that Karl Smith kindly gave me for my hypnosisweek.com channel. And as I said right at the beginning, if you do want to go on a live training course and you can't make it to one of mine, because I run them very rarely anyway, then without a doubt, one of the rare few I would recommend is Karl's UK Hypnosis Academy course. And an interesting side note, the UK Hypnosis Academy, Hypnosis Academy UK, they were one and the same at one time, was originally set up by both Karl Smith and Chris Gillies. And Chris Gillies actually learned, his mum studied my training materials years ago, and so did Chris. And Chris is on record. It's out there on Facebook, and the screenshots in my testimonial section and stuff as publicly stating that he learned from my stuff and how valuable it was. Indeed. Yeah, anyway, there you have it. Bye for now.